The season started off with a lot of hope and promise. I'm sure it must have seemed like a good idea at some point. Something just wasn't right. Nobody really knew where he came from, and nobody really knew where he went.
August in Columbia, Missouri. Young people flocking back to campus, air conditioners humming, and a new season of Mizzou football on the horizon. 2017 seemed no different, but deep within the halls of the Missouri Athletic Department offices, a decision was being made that would alter the course of history forever.
There's a lot of pressure on Division I athletic programs to entertain. Football tickets are expensive, HD TV, it's better than ever. There's no guarantee the team will actually be a draw. Programs have to come up with ideas on how to engage fans. This was likely born out of desperation at the end of the day. That can evoke brilliant ideas. Waltz was not one of those. Waltz the Inflatable Tiger mascot was introduced to Mizzou fans on September 2nd, 2017. Envisioned as an affable partner to the beloved Truman the Tiger, Waltz was assigned the task of dancing in the south end zone while Marching Mizzou played the traditional performance of the Mizzou Waltz. We could tell right away something wasn't right. He waddled out there, he wasn't introduced, no one knew who he was or what he was about, and then he just fell. In the middle of Waltz's first outing on that autumn day, the new mascot did something that no one in the stadium expected. He collapsed onto the turf and started gyrating. It seemed for a moment he might right himself, but to the horror of thousands of onlookers, Waltz kept writhing. Someone should have done something. It quickly became a spectacle and, frankly, a distraction. Fans weren't the only ones to take notice. The Mizzou team itself seemed shaken by what had transpired on the field. Missouri State was an FCS opponent who the Tigers were expected to beat easily, but in the wake of Waltz's display, Mizzou allowed its opponent to rack up 353 yards of offense and 43 points.
Did it have an effect on the team? Sure. How could it not? I mean, we're trying to concentrate on a big game, and you got some perverted beach ball doing that on the field? You can't unsee that.
The media also took notice of what happened on Faurot Field that day, and the mockery came fast. Perhaps no one was more critical than writer Joel Wallchipper. Was I hard on Waltz? Yeah, but I think I was just saying what everybody else in Columbia was already thinking. Waltz and his antics were not welcome. Despite the disaster that took place during that home opener, the new inflatable mascot would be given another chance. The following week, Missouri hosted South Carolina, and once again, Waltz was given the opportunity to perform. After that first game, I think a lot of people were rattled by it, but I also think a lot of Tiger fans were willing to give him a second chance. I liked Waltz. I don't know what all the hoopla was about. He bounced around, he was jolly. Did he terrify some children? Probably. But what mascot worth his salt hasn't at some point? Was he profane? Only if you have your mind in the gutter, or if you're familiar with the human act of lovemaking. To the dismay of those in attendance, many of whom were rooting for a comeback from their new mascot, Waltz once again went to the ground. It was a disaster. Everyone in the south end zone was mortified. I even saw South Carolina fans covering their eyes. It wasn't right. Waltz's repeat performance would have devastating results. Mizzou would be blown out that day on the football field. The team was rattled. Fans left early, and important people within the program took notice. That just wasn't us out there that day. That wasn't the Missouri Tigers. Could we have done some things differently with our game plan? Sure, but I don't think I'm making excuses when I say it was that plastic tiger that changed the course of that game. Just 2 weeks into the season, the Tigers sat 1-1 with 2 uninspiring performances. The team was in disarray, the fans were disgusted, and a Mizzou legend was demoralized.
I'd never seen anything like it. I devoted my life to entertaining and revving up these fans. I take pride in my work. When I first met Waltz, I'll be perfectly honest, it felt like a slap in the face. I thought they were out there trying to put old Truman to pasture. But after what he did, I wasn't worried about me anymore. I was worried about that team and my fans.
I came at Waltz pretty hard after that game. There was no excuse for what he was doing. I called it a seizure, but really it was something worse than that. Somebody needed to put a stop to it. And I guess somebody did. Missouri's next home game was against a middling Purdue team. At the outset of the season, most predicted the Tigers to win easily, but after what happened the previous 2 weeks, the outcome was anyone's guess. Everybody was on pins and needles. We all knew what was coming. A lot of people frankly just didn't want to be there. They didn't want to be a part of it.
I'm not gonna lie, the guys in the locker room were a wreck. All anybody could talk about was Waltz. I don't even think we knew who we were supposed to play that day.
It's hard to motivate a team when you got something like that hanging over your head. Man, the guys were not ready. The Purdue game proceeded as expected. The Tigers were rudderless that day. The specter of Waltz hovered over Faurot Field like the sword of Damocles. And while Mizzou's fate was sealed before the ball even kicked off, the ultimate fate of Waltz was far more mysterious. He just didn't show up. Something just wasn't right. Waltz always came out at the end of the third quarter while the band played, but I could see from the sideline during the Purdue game, the band played that state song, but the south end zone, it was just empty. Where had Waltz gone? Had the endless barrage of criticism finally become too much? Was he just sick that day? Was he fired? Or did something more sinister happen? One missed game could be anything. When he missed again and again, we all started to worry. Rumors flew around Columbia. What had happened to the embattled balloon? He had shown such confidence in his first 2 outings. Waltz did not seem like the kind of person or creature, anthropomorphic jungle cat, to just give up. But if someone did do something to Waltz, who was it? His list of enemies seemed endless. Look, everybody knows I didn't have very many nice things to say about Waltz, but it's a sports writer's job to report what he sees on the field. For anyone to suggest that I had something to do with his disappearance, that's just ridiculous.
Was I intimidated by Waltz? Yeah. Did I approve of his antics? No way. Did I think he was hurting the team I love so dear? Absolutely. Did I hate him? I think that's fair to say. Now, did I kill the guy? No way.
Suspicion spread far beyond the borders of sleepy Columbia, Missouri. What Waltz had been doing had ruffled feathers all across college football.
That thing was an obvious knockoff. It's like he stole my whole playbook. Flailing his arms like a T-Rex? Mine. Waddle around the end zone with a disturbing frozen smile on his face? Mine. Bouncing up and down on his head, causing obvious severe brain damage? I invented all that stuff. That guy was a total ripoff. I had no reason to take him out, though. Everybody knew he was a hack.
The feelings around Columbia were mixed. While fans were ill at ease knowing something tragic had befallen Waltz, not having to worry about what he might do during the games gave a new spark to the fan base and the team. If I'm perfectly honest, I think people quit looking into it once the team started winning. Sure, any killer should be brought to justice, but without the distractions Walt brought to the field, it was like the town was free again. The investigation is still open. Do we have every officer working day and night on the case? No, we don't. This isn't the only crime in town, but we look into every call and we get a lot of them. I stand by the work the work we're doing. Internet message boards continue to light up with reported Waltz sightings and theories about his mysterious disappearance. Did he skip town to avoid child support on his many illegitimate automotive airbag children? Did he take on new work as a weather balloon? Or was he deflated? All I know is my Missouri Tiger team is going to a bowl game, and frankly, we'd have gotten there a lot sooner if it wasn't for that balloon tiger. I don't miss him. There, I said it.
Things seem to be getting back to normal again, but there are times I look back at the south end zone and think about how things might have been different. Maybe if I'd have tried a little harder to extend an olive branch. Maybe if he wasn't thrust into the limelight so soon before he was ready. I don't think we'll ever know.
It could have been anything. He could have run. He could have gotten snagged on barbed wire. This is an agricultural state, but if somebody did do something to Waltz the mascot, I don't feel the least bit guilty in saying he got what's coming to him. And I think Mizzou fans in their heart of hearts would agree with that. Bye, Felicia.